Hey, what's up, boys? My name is Stevie Wonder Kid, and welcome back to another episode of the Rate My Ride video series. I know it's been probably either 6 or 7 months since I did a video in this series, and I'm really sorry about the delay, but given the current state of GTA 5, I just need to take a break, and I need to take a step back and work on some other content, and I figured one of the best ways to do that was to reopen the Rate My Ride submissions. So really quickly, guys, if you don't already know, the Rate My Ride is a video series basically where my subscribers send in cars for me to take a look at and showcase to you guys in a full-length video. And if you guys actually want to go in and make submissions for yourselves, then join the Discord. All of the instructions for joining that and becoming a part, so you have the relevant role in the Discord server, that will all be in the description for your reference. But anyways, with that said, for this round of submissions, I took cars from pretty much any game. I've since opened it up so you can submit pretty much whatever you want nowadays, so really eager to see what we got. I've seen these cars before. This is like my 4th or 5th try recording this. Originally the file got corrupted, but anyway, I really wanted to get this video out there, so we're going back at it again. Anyways, first off, we have Kyraesr here in GTA 5 with the new Penode. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's based off of the EV Renault Turbo 5, or the R5, just a remake of an old rally build to fit the new EV Renault coming to the game. This thing is so cool. I'm a little bit mixed about what this car is going to be when it's added to the game. I don't know if it's going to be fast or not. Already the fact that it's the EV version of the Renault R5 Turbo, kind of depressing that they added the EV version rather than the original gas-powered variant, but still pretty aggressive looking car. Some of the styling cues that Rockstar had on this, not really a big fan of, but overall I think it is still a pretty cool car. And Kyra had a really nice build here with the nice rally spec. Really like these like race spec wheels, the nice rally style, almost turbofan like wheels painted in white. In addition, matching it up with the white on the livery, really like that color sync there. For the primary, not a big fan of yellow, especially on a build like this. I might have done like either a green or a blue. Not a big fan of the way the yellow looks. Not enough contrast in my opinion between that and the white, but still overall really clean build, very authentic. I guess don't really know what the customization on this thing is like, but still a pretty cool car. And maybe another thing as well when it comes to the color, maybe consider running like a classic shade, because the metallic there really looks awkward with the livery, especially in this lighting. Kind of clashes with the livery, but beyond that, pretty cool build. Probably going to give this a 7 out of 10. Next up, we got Bella in GTA 5 with an Annis Euros inspired by a Z on Twitter owned by @bash. Just wanted to mess around with building a car in a modded game, and this is how it came out. And they got their buddy in a ZR380. Oh my god. Immediately I'm just thinking about looking at the ZR380 rather than the Euros that Bella submitted, but still, ZR380 is pretty sick. Love the purple. Not really a big fan of the wheel fitment, but beyond that, pretty cool car. It's a shame that we don't have that version in GTA, but still, the main focus should be the Euros itself. I'm a big fan of this build, man. I really love the orange on this car. It really kind of pops. It provides a lot of contrast, and it really just like, I don't know, it just sets the car apart, because you normally don't see a Z in like a bright orange like this. Only thing I'm not a fan of though is those mismatched fenders. I know it takes inspiration from a car in real life, but even then, the fact that the fenders are gray whereas the rest of the car is one color, not a big fan of the way that looks. That's just me, so I would have just done those the same colors as the rest of the body. But beyond that, I love these wheels. Don't really know what these wheels are, but I like the 5 split spoke design, and the carbon hood as well matches up pretty well. Nice fitment, so I'm gonna give this thing a solid 8 out of 10. I'm a fan of this. Next up, we got Maz. Oh my god, dude, he always pulls out the best possible builds for the Rate My Ride video series, and in this one he didn't disappoint. This is the Annis S230, big style car, low baller wheels, full interior dress up, and a good power plant. I had to pop out crazy for the one time. This thing is so sick, dude. Now Maz actually makes a lot of GTA mods himself, so extra respect for him if he made all the mods for this car himself. Got a nice either BN or Origin Lab kit, not quite sure about that. Nice black license plate. I like the extra little work there to make the custom plate that kind of is different from the ones that we have in the game currently. Love this body kit. Love the blue because it's just the right amount of pop. It's like a subtle blue, but the metallic really kind of sets it apart. Clear taillights, the like Altezza style tails in the back there. 3 exhaust tips. The only thing I would change about the rear is maybe the wing, do a different wing, like a ducktail or something like that, or like an ab plug style wing. But beyond that, still, this thing is so hot. Tilted license plate there. The interior is so detailed. Steering wheel, stickers on the dash. She's got the gauges there, the little display there, the big ass, I don't know if this is a VCR or something like that. I don't even know, but this thing is so hard. Love the authentic styling on this one, and extra respect because I know he probably modeled a lot of this stuff too. So I'm gonna give this thing a 10 out of 10. This thing is so hot. If we had something like this in GTA 5, I would go absolutely nuts. But anyways, man, this thing is so sick. Check Maz out on Instagram. He always makes great stuff. Next up, we got RyGuy721 in GTA 5 with an RX-7 FC mod. Little build, nothing too special. Sorry for the quality. Nah, it's all good. We can still see some of the really like close-up aspects of this build. This is a really detailed mod. You can see like there the Japanese text on the headlights. Oh my gosh, this thing is so hard. I love this purple here, the kind of like metallic deep purple almost. I love the way that looks. Love these special like custom LED tails. The rims fit this car perfectly. It's nice and lowered, slammed to the ground. It's got an LS, not a big fan of that, but still the engine model is super detailed. It's like some sort of turbo LS motor. That looks sick. But yeah, the detail on this build is awesome. Really good mod, and I think he complemented the really detailed mod perfectly with all the modifications he chose with the purple there and the nice fitting wheels. Definitely a fan of this build. Would have liked to see some more pictures of the outside of the car, but beyond that still, I'd probably give this thing an 8 out of 10. I'm a big fan of this. Next up, we've got Cazze in vanilla GTA 5 with the Slam Van Custom. I think that's what it's called. Just another lowrider meant to look like a slightly custom and very low old school truck with lots of chrome. Wheels are supposed to look like stock ones, but I personally am a fan of red wheels on classic trucks, and it's got a bed cap for the simplicity, but I wish there was a nicer one that ran more flush with the bed top. 12K OBO, no low balls. I know what I got. This thing's sick, man, and immediately I noticed where he was going with the red wheels. If you paint like an older classic vehicle like this and it's like a subtle enough primary color, then you can really add a lot of contrast by painting the wheels red, and they don't look that far off. They don't look bad on this build at all, and I've seen other people pull this off and they always look really good. If there's enough contrast with the primary, then it can look really good. I'm a really big fan of this like almost metallic military green. I see what he was talking about with that truck bed. I'm not a big fan of the way the truck bed looks, but beyond that, this car is so pretty. Love the pinstripes there, and I think there's even a bit of red on the pinstripes as well, which is nice because it kind of syncs up with the red on the wheels. Big fan of that. Not a big fan of this like visor kind of thing over the top there. If there's a way to remove that so it just looks a little cleaner, then I would have done that. But beyond that, the colorway on this thing, the chrome bumpers and everything else about it, and the fact that it's slammed to the ground, big fan of the way this thing looks. Probably a 9 out of 10 for this one. This thing's sick, and I haven't seen this one pop out in a long time, so it's nice to see an underrated vehicle here in GTA 5 being showcased. Awesome. Next up, we've got Sunless. There's his Instagram and all that. He's in car drift racing online with the Toyota Soarer, and the Sorrow is what it's called in the game. Just one of the liveries I made at Kyraesr. This was suggested by me. Yes, it was, when he was asking what to make a livery for. And I'm a little bit biased because I actually own now a Lexus SC400 in real life, so I'm automatically biased towards seeing this car in a video game, but this thing's so sick, dude. I love this like classic tribal style livery. As you guys can see here, this picture I think shows it the best. I love the tribal graphics on here with the black. If anything, I may have tried to make the livery pop a bit more, so maybe changing the color of the primary color, or maybe changing the color of the gray on the tribals to something more like flamboyant, like a purple or a blue or red or something like that to make it pop even more. But beyond that, I like the kind of white accenting with the tribal as well. It kind of matches up with the white on the wheels and the wide slide graphics as well. I guess that's supposed to be a play on Veil side, but yeah, this thing's sick. Not a big fan of that windshield banner. I think that font doesn't match up at all, so I might just take that off. I think that's a little bit too much, but the rest of the livery, man, the fact that he made it himself, so sick. And I am pretty biased again towards these cars because I own one in real life now, and I am building it up for drifting, so I expect to see that showcased on the channel sometime soon. But still, seeing this in Kyraesr really gets me excited about my own car. I just noticed this, like the green accenting on the roll cage and on the mirrors, and even on the bash bar up front there. That is sick. Really big fan of this. There are some things I would change about the livery, but beyond that, I think it's still a really cool build, and I love the body kit on this thing too, so I'll probably give this thing a 9 out of 10. Next up, we got Sam, or 25 wheel horsepower on IG. I guess that means wheel horsepower, and an Assetto Corsa with a Toyota Corolla A8611, little pocket drift machine from the golden era of cars, BN Sports body kit alongside work equips, supercharged 4AGE, that's rare, 4AGZE, with all the power figures there, 900 kilograms overall weight. This thing must absolutely rip. Driver's dream thanks to the reinforced roll cage, custom bride seats, and the slept on 50-50 weight distribution. Super authentic build, man. So many details with this thing. I don't know if this is definitely a mod, but this thing is so cool. It looks so good, but I love the way this body kit looks on the A86. Nice bright red paint scheme as well to make it pop. Love the fan of the front end on these Levins with the kind of crossbar and the headlights there along the front. Carbon hood looks great. The red bride seats match up with the primary color as well. The work equips, always love small wheels on these older classic JDM cars. This thing is so sick, and it looks like they're putting it to good use on the track with drifting it as well. Big fan of the detail in this thing. Automatic 10 out of 10. This thing is so dope. Love this thing, man, and it gets me more excited to try the Assetto Corsa. So yeah, hopefully you guys will see some of that on the channel in the future too. Next up, we got H1I Gamer, and there's his YouTube, Discord, Twitter, all that stuff. In GTA 5, vanilla GTA 5 with the Vapid Dominator Dominator ASP, Mustang that is one of two because me and my friend have the same car because of the color you can't get in game, so it's probably a modded crew color or something like that, and he also drifts it. Makes sense, the Dominator ASP absolutely rips, and I'm a big fan of the way this build looks. It kind of reminds me of my own build. With the Dominator ASP, there's so many options to make it look like not like a typical New Edge Mustang, and I really like the way H1I took the direction with this build. Love this color, it kind of pops. Not my first choice for color, but it kind of works on this car. I don't know why, but I really like the way it looks there. I like the gray. I think these are either street or track rims. I like those. The alloy actually looks nice and in contrast nicely with the pink there. And yeah, overall pretty cool build. Not much to say about it. Not super crazy, which is what I like. It's nice and clean, but obviously he's got enough there to kind of make it set it apart really with that color. And he also drifts it too. So I'm gonna give this thing a solid 8 out of 10. Glad that he's putting it to good use, and the color choice is especially pretty unique. Next up, we've got Bhardsir in GTA 5 with the Albany Hermes. Yes, indeed, rest in peace, because this was one of the 200 cars that Rockstar stupidly decided to remove from the game. That is a topic for another video, but still, this build is absolutely sick, man. Whenever people build these cars, I feel like a really common choice is to make them look like Doc Hudson from Cars, but taking it a little bit of a different direction with this color scheme and this livery, I absolutely love the way this thing looks. Reminds me a lot of Cazze's build with like the red wheels, but this kind of faded red I feel like matches up really well with the livery. Love the way this thing looks. I can't quite tell if this is like a black color or like a darker brown because it looks like there's a bit of a metallic in the paint there, but no matter what, this thing is still super clean. Very unique take on a build like this. Obviously looking super pretty there with the livery and the red wheels. A really cool take because it's like a mix of like a clean like street inspiration or like a clean like lowrider build almost mixed with like the track inspiration or the old race car inspiration. So big fan of the way that looks. I feel like the two styles mesh really well. So I'm gonna give this thing a 9 out of 10. Really cool car, and obviously rest in peace again. Hopefully Rockstar adds this back sometime soon. Again, that's a topic for another day. Next up, we got Splizu in the Crew 2 with the RX-8, a RX-8 with a drift type livery that he made himself. Didn't want to make flames and tribals, so I made whatever these thingies are. They look almost like clouds, and I'm actually a really big fan of that because again, it's a very different take on like a standard like tribal livery or like a classic drift livery you see on these cars. Really like the choice of graphics as well, the Ari Amemia bits, Volino, Euro stickers, the big blitz on the banner there. Really like the look of that. The colorway on this thing is absolutely sick. I love this like dark blue mixed with like the lighter blue shades there on the additions on the livery there with the tribals, and then obviously the blue on the brake calipers too. Love the way this thing looks. Love the wheels as well. The only thing I might change is the color on the hood because that's black. If anything, I might change that to the same shade of darker blue that I used on the rest of the car. But beyond that, still a very unique build. I haven't played the Crew yet, but it looks like it's got some decent customization. So glad that they're putting all those options to good use. Gonna give this thing an 8 out of 10. This thing is really cool. Next up, we got Sandwich Vivo. That's a cool name. In modded GTA 5, this is the Penumbra Retro Spider Custom. So it's not the normal Penumbra FF, it's the mod. Here's this little story. Yo, there's this new fool in town. Some hotshot loudmouth from Liberty City goes on about how he dusted young ancestor in a race across the city like it means something. Maybe he did because that ride of his looks built. I'd race him, but my hands are tied up with work, you feel me? He rolls around Vinewood, purple and blue convertible, can't miss it. Statement from How. And this reminds me a lot of like a prompt you'd get for a race in like Midnight Club or something. I think that's kind of the vibe he was going for. But this car itself, oh, this thing is so cool, man. I really wish we had this level of customization for the Penumbra FF in the game. This thing's sick. I love this livery, nice like classic style livery with like the ninja stars. That's really cool. I love this bright fluorescent purple with the fluorescent blue green as well. This thing looks sick, and the fact that it's a convertible too. We don't see enough convertibles here in GTA 5, and to see a one like this looking as cool as this one does is sick. And I love these wheels too. They almost look like the wheels that are on the Phoenix in the game, like the stock wheels on the Phoenix, but a lot bigger and a lot more like tuner-esque in terms of the styling. But this thing's super sick. Love the way this mod looks. Not really sure if this is a different color scheme in this picture. I think that the color scheme in these pictures where it's like a bit of a different shade of purple looks a little cleaner. But yeah, overall the story behind the build and the build itself, super cool, man. Gonna give this thing a 9 out of 10. This thing's awesome. Next up, we got Cubbo in GTA Online with the new Maibatsu monstrosity with the HSW upgrade. There's something so special about going very fast in small cars. I definitely agree. Let me tell you, the new monstrosity is fast. Bruffy's latest video had me shaking my head at the revelation that this little thing is quicker than the Tempesta around the track and nips at the heels of the Pariah in top speed. For my own monstrosity, I went for a rally raid style build optimized for hauling booty on any surface. Yeah, man, the new monstrosity, especially with the HSW upgrade, is absolutely insane. One of the fastest cars in the game just in general, really, not just in the off-roads class. It's just generally giving other cars, as Cubbo said, in other classes, a really good run for their money. So very unique car. It is pretty overpriced, but beyond that, still definitely worth it if you have access to it. This build's sick, man. Nice like rally raid style. Love this livery as well, like the yellow on the blue. Nice contrast there. I think I have the exact same wheels actually on my build, like the white 5 spokes there. A really cool build overall, very authentic. He's taking it there on the dirt and absolutely whipping it, and it sounds like he's having a lot of fun with it. Love this thing. Love the unique styling on this. I feel like a lot of builds with the new monstrosity, they might just paint the standard Mitsubishi like gray, red, white, or black kind of color scheme, but this is definitely a unique take on a normal build that you'd see for the Pajero. So big fan of this thing, man. He's putting it to good use, and it's an awesome car, very unique. So I'm gonna give this thing a 9 out of 10. Really nice build. Next up we got Motion4249. I think this is his first submission for Rate My Ride. The Declasse Pajero ZX. It's a gasoline green with some type of metal finish, and then oh boy, I'm gonna be honest, although the color itself is kind of cool, I just don't think it fits. I feel like on a very few select cars this color might work, but I know this is kind of Motion style, but I just don't like the way this looks, man. I'm sorry. In addition, the pictures are like really low quality, not sure why. So the low quality pictures kind of hard to see the finer details, but from what I can see, it's got like the modded color there with the white wheels and the yellow interior. This thing kind of looks horrendous to me. So many differing things, not enough contrast between the primary and the wheels, and then the yellow interior just doesn't match at all. There's some value in like getting a color scheme on this car that matches between like the interior, the wheels, and the rest of the body, in addition to all the accents like on the bumpers and stuff like that. It's typically better to minimize the number of colors that you're scattering all over the car, and in this case there's so many different like contrasting colors and almost not enough contrast in some cases. So yeah, really not a fan of the way this thing looks, man. I'm so sorry. I know you probably like it, and I know you're probably putting it to good use, but for me personally, I really dislike the way this car looks. So yeah, I'd probably change it up, go for something a little cleaner, maybe not a modded color on the primary, and then maybe keep the wheels but paint them a different color that kind of matches a little bit better, and then choose something other than yellow for the interior that just looks horrendous. But yeah, there's a lot of room to improve on this one, so I'd probably give this thing like maybe a 3 out of 10 if that. Definitely a lot of things I would change, but still, hey, thank you for the submission. I appreciate it, man. Next up we got Bohemian, or Smokey the Bohemian, in GTA Online on the PS5 with the Annis Euros. And this thing, man, already if you guys have played Need for Speed Underground or Need for Speed Underground 2, I think, then you probably know what this build is inspired after. This ride has gotten me into a bit of trouble recently. I was just giving my own Euros another makeover. Metallic green paint job, overhauling the engine components along with some new aero parts, vented carbon hood, custom set of champagne gold 90s running wheels fitted onto sports tires. So on one faithful night, I suddenly got a whole lot of calls to join up some racing venues across Los Santos, and while I was dominating that night, I eventually got a call from this crazy chick who wanted her car back. She sure sounded pissed, but I think she had the wrong number. This thing is so cool, man. If you guys have played the older Need for Speed games, this is obviously inspired after Rachel's 350Z from Need for Speed Underground. This thing is so cool, dude. So authentic. I love the shade of green. He even went the extra mile to merge the special brushed gold onto these rims, and this looks so good, man. Automatic 10 out of 10. Love the backstory, love the inspiration. He executed on the build perfectly, and yeah, I mean, not much else to say about it. I think it kind of speaks for itself. This thing is insanely cool. Slowly starting to get more love for the Euros. I've been building a lot more. I have like 2 more Euroses on my main account now, and I'm a big fan of this car and all the options for customizing it too. This thing is sick, and Smokey absolutely killed it once again. Absolute banger. 10 out of 10 for sure. Next up we got Peugeot Enthusiast and Specialist. Makes sense. This is his IRL car actually. 95 Peugeot 205. This is a GTI replica rather. I'm not going to go through all the mod list, but it seems like he's done a lot to it. 1.6 GTI wheels, GTI body kit, and it is a diesel. Beyond that, still, this thing is really cool, man. I've always been a fan of the 205s, especially like the rally version. Those cars are absolutely sick. Loving playing with that car, and I think the old dirt games, this thing is absolutely sick. And his replica here of the GTI version is absolutely awesome. Love all the red accents there. Pug life on the back. Love the red primary color with the colors and all that stuff. In addition, the red interior too just pops so much, dude. This thing's sick. I know he's posted a lot of pictures of the thing before, but it shows that he cares a lot about this thing. He's obviously building it up to be how he wants it to, and I respect that. Really big fan of this car. The fact that we don't have these in the States is kind of depressing because this thing is really fun and it looks really cool and very unique. So yeah, gonna give this thing probably an 8 out of 10. He's put a lot of work into it and it looks really cool. Really big fan of this thing. So yeah, definitely an 8 out of 10 there. Next up, we got Pigeon in GTA 5 with the recent Unlimited Ubermax Sentinel Classic wide body. Build this M3 wide body for street racing and a little bit of track, but mostly street racing. Had the engine fully rebuilt and tuned, and the interior redone with a roll cage and bucket seats. PS, subscribe to Stevie Wonder Kid. That is true. If you guys want to subscribe, feel free to subscribe. But anyways, man, this thing is absolutely sick. I have so much love for the Sentinel Classic wide body. This thing is so clean. There's so many different directions you can take with this car, and I feel like any direction you do take is gonna look sick. And as you guys can see, this more like clean, refined street build looks so clean. Oh, I love this red, this like metallic maroon, almost like a deep maroon color. A lot of depth to this color, and it's a nice contrast with the gold on the wheels there. Looks really good, and it is kind of minimalist too. Like it doesn't have a lot added onto the exterior. I know you can kind of go crazy with the Sentinel Classic with like liveries and lips and louvers and different spoilers and all that, but keeping it more clean and refined while still having a little bit of extra like personality to it with the wide body looks so good, man. Really big fan of this build. Looks super clean. Definitely rethinking the way I want to build mine in the future, but still, this thing's awesome, man. Probably a 9 out of 10 for this thing. This thing's really cool. Next up, we got Zell Stans. I don't know why it's cutting off the names there, but anyway, in GTA Online with the Anus Euros, he knows exactly what he was doing with this build. Remember when I said you'd love the Stevie? Well, here it is. I can't talk. My recreation of Vert Wheeler's Power Rage from Hot Wheels Acceleracers using the Anus Euros. I even went to the point of recreating Vert's outfit from the show. There will be 4 pictures instead of 3. The last one is the picture of the actual car for reference. Hope you like it. And he did redo the entry because he wanted to edit the pics a bit. So yeah, man. And if you guys haven't seen Acceleracers, most of you guys probably haven't, but for me, that was like a staple of my childhood. Acceleracers, World Race, and all of the other accompanying like Hot Wheels spin-offs and Hot Wheels animated cartoons. Absolutely love those. I used to watch them so much, and if you guys want to check them out for yourselves, I think they are uploaded onto YouTube, so you could probably find them if you want to watch them if you don't know what I'm talking about here. But this thing's sick. I knew that this livery, it's not a direct replica of the Acceleracers livery for Vert's car, but still a really close match there, and I love the fact that he went in through so much effort to recreate the livery. He chose the right wheels. He even recreated the outfit, as he said. Again, man, the Euros needs more love. There's so many different things you can do with this build, and it is definitely kind of an unsung hero from the LS Tuners DLC. So absolutely love this thing. So authentic. It definitely a bit of nostalgia back to my childhood. So yeah, man, Zell killed it. Very unique submission. Love the obviously match to the real life car, or the car from the movie. So gonna give this thing a 10 out of 10. Really cool build. Very unique. Keep these builds up, man. You guys have awesome stories behind these. This one, Smokey's build, you guys are really killing it with the backstory. So keep this up, man. I want to see more of this. 10 out of 10 for this one. Awesome submission, dude. Really appreciate it. Next up, we've got BLVK33, Desire in GTA 5 with the new Roma, or the Italia GTO Stinger TT. Insanely long name. Don't know why they chose that, but anyway. We're used to seeing a red Ferrari, but I went for a competition exclusive race spec. Influences from some other models, and this is what I chose. This is one of the best looking cars Rockstar has released. I kind of agree with that. It is a pretty cool looking car. It is kind of big though. But anyway, he says this car also has HSW upgrades, making it street track ready. Such an amazing fun car to drive. Serious performance powered by an amazing V8. Very good summary of this car. The Stinger TT, man, although it's very expensive, it's definitely worth it if you want to be competitive. One of the fastest cars now in the sports category, and I think it's the fastest car in terms of top speed in the entire game. But this build, man, absolutely love it. I love this kind of track inspiration. Love the gray, and even matching it up with the gray on the wheels. Normally I wouldn't do that. I'd kind of either paint the wheels a different color, but in this case, it actually matches up quite well. In addition to the kind of aggressive track spoiler, not really my style, but I can see why it works for this aesthetic and this theme that he was going for. In addition, the carbon on the hood there, I don't like the way that it kind of clashes with the yellow stripe on the livery. That's the only like little nitpicky thing I might change about this build, but the rest of it, I definitely like it. Love the inspiration for this thing. Love that he kept it clean. Nice to see him change it up for this one. Big fan of the way this thing looks, so I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. Definitely a nice car. Unfortunately, it is very overpriced, but still definitely worth it if you guys have access to it. Next up, we got That Car Dude 445 and Need for Speed Heat. Haven't gotten a submission from that game in a while, so thank you for that. This is the Lancer Evo 9 MR. So this is my dream car, the Evo 9 and Need for Speed Heat. Voltex wide body, JDM 9 rear bumper, Voltex diffuser, hood, Vera splitter, BBS LM rims. Very authentic modifications there. Forged 4063T engine makes up to 900 brake horsepower in the game. That's insane. Personally love this car more than any other car I own because it drives amazing and looks aggressive. And man, this thing is so sick. I remember back when I was very young and I first got into cars, my like original dream car was a yellow Evo 8 or Evo 9 like this one. This thing is so sick. Definitely again a big hit of nostalgia looking at this car because I used to be so infatuated with these. Love this wide body. Love the BBS LMs. Nice little contrast there between the black on the faces and then the chrome barrels there. Very Very clean build, super aggressive as well, but obviously not too in your face either. It's nice and discreet, but it's got just the right amount of extra spice. So definitely like this thing, huge bit of nostalgia as well. Plus it looks really pretty here in Need for Speed Heat, so I'm gonna give this thing a 9 out of 10 for sure. This thing's awesome. Next up we got Smokin', another IRL submission. That's awesome. Yeah, maybe in the future as well, I might change up the theme so people can submit their IRL cars. That might be a unique take for a Rate My Ride episode. But anyway, this is an 07 BMW 5 Series 520D. Not much done to it. Window tints, fix some electrical issues. Respect, because I know electrical work is kind of frustrating on cars. Brakes, fix the right headlight. For the time being, it sits in the garage waiting to be driven another day. Hey man, that's fair. This thing's super cool. That looks like when he does drive it, he drives it a lot of different places, which is great. This thing looks clean, man. We don't get enough of these, like, not sure what era wagons these are, but we don't have a lot of these in the States. So to see one like this is super cool, because I've only seen like maybe 2 of these in the United States. But very unique car. Not sure how unique it is from the country that he's from, but still really like the way this thing looks. Very refined, very clean wagon. Would love to see this thing maybe as he modifies it in the future, if that's what he wants to do. But still, pretty cool IRL car, and it looks like it serves him pretty well, and he's put a lot of work into it too, so I respect that. Not my style of car in the first place, but I like that he takes pride in it and he works on it. That's awesome. So I'm gonna give this thing probably a 7 out of 10. So good job, dude. And again, would love to see more IRL builds from you guys in the future too, so definitely consider that for the next round. Next up we got Brave One 2016. Again, breaking the boundaries of Rate My Ride here by submitting the Nitro Drifter from Fortnite. You ever want to go out for a drive after killing 2 players and being knocked down to 16 HP? Well, this beautiful machine can take you to whoever you desire once there's a road. Suited with an underglow that works with music and a quick drift to the nitro mechanic, it's truly a piece of machinery. Driving this may remind you of Cyberpunk or that one scene with the Honda Civics and the Fast and the Furious. Either way, this car is a beast and a beauty. Again, killing it with the backstories behind these cars, man. I absolutely love reading through the stories that you guys make up for these things. I haven't played Fortnite in a few months, but I didn't even know they added like a, again, as he said, like a Cyberpunk style car. And this thing's actually kind of cool, honestly. I knew you could drift in Fortnite, so I can imagine drifting with this thing is super cool. Love the way this thing looks. The Cyberpunk styling, the like neon on the turbofan wheels there, that's sick. Not sure what's going on with the engine. That might be a turbo, not quite sure, but really a big fan of the way this looks. I know you can't modify these. Maybe you can actually in creative mode or something, but still, for being something that you could just pick up and drive in Fortnite, really cool car. And again, the fact that he submitted a car from Fortnite for Rate My Ride is very ballsy, and I do like that. So I'm gonna give this thing probably an 8 out of 10. This thing's actually really cool, and it makes me want to get back on Fortnite. So good job, dude. Definitely breaking the boundaries once again, Brave One. Thank you so much, dude. Very unique submission. Next up, we got Shinuko. Oh my god, haven't heard from him in a while. Nice to see a submission from him. This is his IRL 2008 Pontiac Grand Prix GXP. Introduce you to a 300 horsepower American front-wheel drive sedan with the capabilities of a Japanese front-wheel drive for its handling and the speed of a rear-wheel drive V8 coupe. Yeah, man, the GXPs here were such cool sleepers for their time. It was like, I think this is the 5.3 LS motor. Yeah, it is. So it's a 5.3 LS motor mounted to a front-wheel drive car. Not a fan of the styling of the Grand Prix. I think they just look very big and long and overly big for like a front-wheel drive car, but this thing is still a really cool and quirky sleeper. Obviously makes a lot of power, almost 300 horsepower as he said, and he's got the chrome wheels. I think these are the OEM wheels. Very clean there. Love the window tints too. I think these are different window tints as well. Very clean and very cool sleeper car. Would love to see this thing maybe modified and maybe another submission at a future episode of Rate My Ride, but seeing this thing stock is super cool. And again, very cool sleeper and obviously a fun daily as well. Gonna give this thing an 8 out of 10. This thing's super cool. Haven't seen one of these in a very long time, and even to see one in white, I think that is pretty rare too. So yeah, man, this thing's sick. Hope you enjoyed driving it, and yeah, would love to see this thing in the future if you decide to modify it too. And next up, we got Arca in Need for Speed 2015. Arca always submits these old Need for Speed builds, and I absolutely love what they do every single time. This is the ARC-7 Spirit R called Shauna. Shauna is the name of a mysterious ARC-7 roaming in the mountains of Ventura Bay. The owner is still unknown, but every racer, civilians, and cops that tried to get him always lost him in the shadows of the late nights. All we know about the driver is that his favorite pass is the east side of El Rey's mountains, and who might dare to challenge him but better have the guts and great driving skills. The story goes that he never got defeated once on this course, knowing it like he was born on this pass. His looks of the late 1990s, 2000s Toge era of Japan makes him recognizable instantly when you come across his path. The mythical driver is said to never be known, and the specs of his baby too. The Legend of Shauna by Arca, pictures, livery, editing made by myself. Once again, guys, you guys kill it with these backstories. Love reading through these and love reading like the story behind each of these cars, because it's very easy to see a car in the game and to just think of it as a car in a video game rather than to think think of it as something you actually put a lot of time and effort into and something that you make a story around. So this thing is so sick, man. And as you guys can see, this build too, nice authentic, almost like tribal like livery, almost looks like vines or something like that wrapped around the car. Love the way that looks with the red, nice contrast there with the white. Not a big fan of the wheels. I think the wheels just look like very awkward in terms of the fitment and also the sizing. These are Watanabe rims and they look like super deep rims too. They almost look like they're like what, like 10 or 12 inches in width, but insanely wide wheels there. Might have chose something different, a little bit more realistic. But beyond that though, this build is absolutely sick. Love the way this looks with the body kit and all that, super authentic, and the backstory behind it is great, and the pictures are really pretty too. So I'm gonna give this thing probably a 9 out of 10. Only thing I change is the wheels, but beyond that, this thing is absolutely dope. Love to see more of these stories. As I said before, this is a great build. Shauna, great RX-7. Thank you, Arca. 9 out of 10 for sure. Next up, we got Bruzy in GTA 5 with the Comet SR. Everyone called him a madman, crazy and insane for trying to make the already perfect Comet SR even better by taking the balanced, naturally aspirated flat 6, producing a competitive 530 horsepower, pairing it with 2 turbos. A rebuilt block and internals was enough to achieve an insane 850 horsepower, and not to mention the wider stance in the back and sleek carbon fiber panels was all it took to turn it from a beast into a monster. Again, amazingly worded stories. You guys should be like writers or something. The quality of these stories, man, is just great. And as you guys can see, the quality of the builds too. Bruzy, this thing is absolutely dope. I always love the look of the Comet SR. It's a shame that Rockstar removed this from the game. Hopefully they add it back sometime soon, because Comet SR, man, very cool car in GTA 5. It handles amazing, plus it also drifts too if you throw the low grips on. But as you guys can see here, this build is absolutely beautiful. Love the carbon there on the black. Nice discreet build. Love these white wheels too. I think they fit this car very well. Haven't seen these wheels. I think these are in the street category. Haven't seen these on a lot of builds, but I think it fits this car absolutely perfectly there. Love the way this thing looks. Probably like a 9 out of 10 for this build. Love the way this thing looks. Love the backstory behind it. Very clean build. Keep it up, dude. Next up, we got Sinky in GTA 5 with the Willard Faction Custom. Just a simple faction build. And man, like, there's so much value in keeping your build simple. And as you guys can see here with Sinky's build, this thing is absolutely dope. Love this, like, almost like kind of worn out yellow with almost like a hint of, I don't know what shade of yellow this is, but I love the way that it looks. And it's nice that it kind of matches up with the color on the pinstripes there. There's enough of a difference in the shade of yellow to kind of make it pop. And I love the way that that looks. Yankton plate there that's completely blank. Nice lowrider wheels with the white wall tires. And I think it's like a white interior too. This thing is so cool. Very authentic looking lowrider style build. Big fan of this thing. As he said before, he kept it simple, but I still think this thing is super, super hard. Love the way this thing looks, man. Definitely keep it up with these cool ass submissions. And yeah, I'll probably give this thing like a 9 out of 10. This thing looks so cool. Next up, we got Shaq in Gran Turismo 7. That's cool. With a BMW E30 M3 Evo, a little old German car on some random toll road. I think this is the Nordschleife. Can't really tell, but this thing's sick, man. I've definitely seen this livery before. It's like a very authentic Molly inspired livery. Love the way that this thing looks. Love that blue as well. Oh man, just a very authentic car. Love these wheels. Love the way it's got like the track set up. It's lowered to the ground, but it still looks amazing. And he's putting it to good use on the track. Nice little M colorway there in the wing. Big fan of the way this thing looks. Gran Turismo is a very pretty game too. So yeah, this thing's awesome. Very authentic. Keeping it nice and simple, but still just enough to kind of set it apart. So big fan of that. Probably gonna give this thing a 8 out of 10. This thing's really cool. And last but not least, we've got Pokey Player 45 in GTA 5 with the Blista Conjo or the EK9 Type R, 97 Civic Type R with a high compression B16B, loaded with some chrome wheels. This build would be what I would have built in the early 2000s. This thing is sick, man. I love the way these the Blista Conjos look. I love how many different directions you can take with the Blista Conjo. There's so many modifications for that car, and obviously doing like a nice authentic Type R inspired build is great. The yellow that's available in the game is almost a perfect match to the actual yellow on these Type Rs, which is awesome. Love these kind of small 4 split spoke rims. Love the way those look. This thing is super cool, super aggressive, but also like very clean too. It's lowered to the ground. It's got like a nice bumper. It's got the kind of gurney flap there on the spoiler there and the nice little carbon flap. Love the way that looks. Slammed, looks super clean. Roll cage too, so you know he means business. The only nitpicky thing I might change is maybe change it up, because I think these fans just look very awkward on this build. Love the way the intercooler looks, but the addition of the fans just, I don't know, doesn't look right. I would keep it clean and maybe just run the intercooler itself to kind of change that up. But beyond that, very clean build. Would probably give this thing an 8 out of 10. This thing's awesome, man. So yeah, boys, that is all the submissions that we got for this round of the Rate My Ride video series. Hopefully you guys enjoyed these once again. Really trying to get back into the swing of making these videos. So once again, follow all the instructions in the description if you want to make make a submission for yourselves. But stay tuned for more like kind of different content on this channel in the near future. Anyways, guys, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.